Hello, y'all. Welcome to Football Topics, man. I'm here again at the Jolly Pumpkin, and today I want to talk about eating healthy, man, and what it takes to keep your body going, and what it takes to, uh, just staying healthy, man, and eating right. Uh, if you're an athlete like me, I have a lot of experience. I've traveled a lot. I've played in a lot of different, professional leagues, man, and I know how to eat right, keep your body right. And today I want to just, touch on some things for you athletes out there that you young guys, man, especially, you're young, you're 20s and stuff like that. It's very, 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 very important if you're trying to go professional, if you're trying to just high school, college, you have to put the right things in your body, man, for it to perform and to perform at a high level. Um, I've been there. Um, I use, for example, I can use a player, LeBron James. You know what I mean? The one wonder why he lasts so long at his age is because how he takes care of his body, man. It's very important. Um, and I notice a lot of I work with a lot of your athletes, and I notice y'all don't drink a lot of water, which is super muy important for your body. Our body is 80% water. And I think it's probably no more than that. They tell you that, but it's a lot more. I want to say 90%. I mean, almost 100%. Uh, and it's very, very important, guys. It's very important to eat right. Um, I want to touch on some things about, I also want to touch on things about lifting weights, building muscle mass, stuff like that. Certain foods you can eat, certain exercises to keep your muscles and ligaments. And also, water is so important for your joints too, you guys. Real important for your joint muscles, stuff like that. That really helps. It helps keep blood flow to your joints and muscles too. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of other things I want to touch on too today. When we got time. Um, Success, man, and starting the business. How to get it started, how to marketing, stuff like that. We'll touch on a lot of things. And I want to thank y'all too for tuning in. And I promise to give good content for the masses. Um, and I'm gonna keep it real for you too. So, we ain't sugarcoating nothing here. You know what I'm saying? Again, thank y'all for tuning in. And well, I want to touch on some things about starting a business. Let's start with that. So for those who, I just started my business and I just got it going. It's going pretty well. It's called Queen's Market. Um, and what I do is print on demand. You know what I mean? So I print images on clothes, household products, car products, vitamins. I print images on all that type of stuff, man. So, and how I got started basically was through Printify. You know what I mean? Uh, my uncle, man, back in like 2022 when I started my business, and he came up with this idea about putting images on clothes or making clothes. You know what I mean? With images on them, and it gave me an idea. You know what I mean? It gave me this idea, like, dang, I could do that. Well, I'm gonna do it. Maybe I could carry it on for him. So I looked up Printify, and I found this thing called Printify. And, man, it's been a blessing starting it. Now I got over 600 some items on my website. I just connected it to Etsy as well, and I'm making stuff on the Etsy website as well. So um, it's an LLC, of course. First thing you want to do before you start a business is you want to come up with an idea first. Everything starts with an idea, right? So you come up with the idea, right? And you write it down. You know what I mean? You write it down on paper, whatever you got to do to keep that idea alive. You want to put it on something, and then when you do that, next thing you want to do is come up with a a theme. You know what I mean? A theme, if it's whatever it's gonna be. Um, and then you find out how to start that. You know what I mean? What you do is look online. You know, you can go to GoDaddy.com. It's a lot of websites you can go to. A lot of websites you can go to help you get started. And most of the time, it's free, low key. You don't have to have a lot of money to start a business. You really don't. All you got to do is research, and that's what technology is for. So you research it, find out what you want to do, find out what genre you want to work in, and you look that up. You feel me? So I found Printify, and basically Printify basically helps you. It does everything for you. Really, all you got to do is really come up with the images that you want to put on stuff. They give you the material. Feel me? So that's how I got started, and now it's going pretty good, man. It's not a 5, 6 star yet, but I'm getting there. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, this basically, people think, uh, you gotta chase success, to be successful. You know what I mean? Don't chase success, man. Don't chase it, man. You know what I mean? It's not something that you chase after. The idea is going to bring you success. It's all about the idea. You know what I mean? Everything started with an idea. Think about it. Uh, these computers, everything that we use, physical matter, started when somebody's head, man, and they brought it into manifestation. It's just all about idea and manifestation. Uh, and I'm still learning. So I'm learning a lot about business. I'm still learning how to, especially marketing, stuff like that. There's so many avenues we can market it. We can learn how to do marketing. You don't have to go to school for this shit. You really don't. I didn't. I started. Man, look, my older brother started a food truck business. He didn't go to school for that. He quit his job, bought a truck, came up with a bunch of ideas, and now his food truck is a 6-star food truck business. And he's doing great. You know what I mean? And, I think that's what I learned from my older brother, you know what I'm saying? Watching him and what he did and how he started his business and how it flourished, you know what I mean? So, we can do the same thing. It ain't hard. But you got to make sure that you want to get into the right thing that you want to do. You know what I mean? You just don't want to try to go after anything. You got to have a dream. You know what I mean? It's all about that dream that you want to bring into fruition. You know what I mean? Like, I had a lot of goals. You know what I mean? I had a lot of common goals and dreams that I wanted. But you got to pick that one, man, and then you go after it. You attack it, and you got to work tirelessly. Another thing about success. Success is an enemy. It also could become an enemy because you could get so caught up in your success that you get comfortable, and you don't want to do that. Don't do that. Don't get comfortable with your first success. You got to be hungry. You got to keep going for more, and because if you do, you'll stay at that point. You won't try to, you know, it's about evolving also. You want to always evolve your business. I mean, even though you might have a business that's going great, right? Everything's going wonderful, right? You don't need to change them, right? You always got to keep going because it's going to be other competition. You got other businesses. You always going to be fighting other businesses and other companies. So it's an endless cycle of competition, and it's that's the main thing you want to think about too is competition when you start a business. Or what exactly are you trying to target? You know what I mean? What are you targeting? You targeting youth? And I sell my stuff in different countries, man. So you got Europe, over in Europe. I sell my stuff over in China. I sell my stuff over in the UK. I got a lot of markets, different areas that I target that I sell my images. You know? Yeah. So you want to always be, evolving and thinking more and more. You know what I mean? I'm going to talk to you about patience. Got to be patient. It's not going to come like fast. Like we want it all the time. It take time. To start a business and grow it. You got, like I said, in marketing. Marketing is so important. I think that's more important than a lot of things. Marketing. Especially what you're trying to, what you're doing. You want to try to get it out there as much as possible. It's like I said, there's so many other avenues that you can go and that you can go to and market. You know what I mean? It's so important, muy important. Yeah, man, it's really important. I have a friend of mine right now, and he's getting ready. He's starting his business, he's getting it going. He's asking me all these questions. And the good thing about learning, I didn't have any help. I didn't have any help starting this stuff, man. I did. I kind of did everything on my own, low key, man. And I didn't have people point me in this direction. What I did was I researched, I found, and I made it work. You know what I mean? I used my brain and just put it all together. You know what I mean? I didn't have no help. And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I could sit here and I could share information and give knowledge. And God gave us all a brain, man, and we can do anything we choose to do. You can do anything you want to do. So if I could do it by myself, my older brother, he pulled it off. Like I said, he quit his job, man, and left and just started his business, and he took off. So you can do the same, those who are entrepreneurs, stuff like that. So other things I want to touch on too. Understanding something, how to do it is really important. I think it's the why and the how. To understand certain things. Doing why you're doing it. Understand why are you doing certain things. Why do we do certain things? Have an understanding of why we do it, how we do it, and the purpose. The targeting purpose. Understanding the purpose. Understanding the gifts, and understanding your value and stuff like that you bring to the business. You know what I mean? And for me, it's always been an inspiration. I've always been inspired. About different. I study different genres of business and stuff like that. And businessmen, I always was around those type of people. And I grew up around business people, so I understand the business mind and how to craft and by me playing ball. You know what I mean? I was always around business owners and stuff like that, team owners. You learn when you're around the business, you learn a lot if you pay attention. A lot of these young people, y'all don't pay attention. You know what I mean? You got to start paying attention to things, man. It's really important, especially details and falling in love with the process. It's about the process as well. If you don't understand the process or fall in love with the process, the outcome is not going to be good for you. You're gonna get frustrated. I'm gonna quit, and it's not easy. It's not easy. It's a journey. It's a journey, and you got to be willing to step on that path and pursue it. You can't give up. You know what I mean? When the first thing don't go your way, because that's not how business works. That's not how the road to business works, especially the road to riches. And that's another thing about chasing success, chasing after it. That's the wrong idea. You know what I mean? It's gonna chase you after a while. But you gotta be willing to sacrifice too. It's a lot of sacrifice. Your time, you know, hours. I stay up till 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the morning working on my business, man. Growing it and pushing it. And it's tiresome. It's an endless tired cycle. But I gotta do it. You feel me? You gotta do it, to reach that level that you're trying to reach. And like I said, it's a journey. It's gonna take a while. Now you got some businesses that work instantly, but it still takes time. You know what I mean? I'm just now getting things set up through the bank accounts and stuff like that, so the money can come in. Another thing too, this is the thing when you start a business and you're trying to get connected to your bank accounts, your account, so you can see the money. It's a process that you have to go through, depending on what bank you go to, and they charge. You know what I mean? So it's good if you do start. It's good if you're working. Another thing too about jobs too. This is what I want to explain to you all about jobs. A job is not to work forever. It's not something that you stay at. It's not a place that you stay. You work the job and you work your business at the same time. The business is going to outgrow the job. Work the job for the experiences. You take the experiences and you put it into the business. And then sooner or later, you won't need the job because the business is growing. So you can leave the job with the knowledge that you took from it. You know what I mean? It don't matter if it's a restaurant, it don't matter. You take the experience. You know what I'm saying? And that also helps you grow. That helps help you grow. Grow your business, your brand, stuff like that, trademarks, all that type of stuff, man. That's the whole purpose. Any job that I've worked, I paid attention to the owners, and I would meet the owners and I would talk to the owners about how do I'm paying attention to how they run the business as well. You know what I mean? The branding, all that other stuff, man. How did I ask questions. I'm always asking questions. Always ask questions too, and don't be afraid to ask questions. If you don't know, you don't know. So you want to ask questions to find out. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So always ask questions. Be diligent, man. Always be a sponge, man. Be willing to learn and take criticism too, because you got to take criticism. That's important. If you want to be successful in business, criticism is, you got to make that your friend for sure. So there's just gonna be people that's gonna criticize, and that's good, because how do I get better at what I do? How do I grow my business the way I need to grow it to get it to where I need to get it? You know what I mean? Criticism, I need that. You need that. So embrace that, but don't let it define who you are. You know what I mean? You're always gonna get, everybody gonna criticize. You're always gonna get some kind of form of criticism, and take that and you use it for what you need to do. You know what I mean? Take it and flip it, put it in your business, or whatever you're doing. and shit like that. So, but yeah, man. And you know what? I also want to touch on the thing of branding. Um, so I have a clothing line that I'm getting ready to start, um, um, and it's called Walnut Brand, right? So me and my uncle came up with this idea. You got the walnut with two legs, he got legs and arms and stuff like that. This is the story behind walnut, right? So when you're doing something like that, you want to get a patent and pending, uh, legal patent pending paper, so no one can steal your ideas as well. That's very important. I got that, and it's basically a contract paper stating that this is my idea, no one can steal it, or I can sue you for stealing my idea. Because you got companies out there that will do that, and people too. So be careful who you share your ideas with too as well. Um, that's your idea is sacred. So if it's $1 million idea and you know that, you got to protect that. That's you. That's on you. You can't blame nobody else. So be careful who you tell to your stuff, because people will take that and they'll take your idea and they'll steal it, and they'll get away with it too if you don't follow the law on how to how to do that. Very important about business too. Very important to do that. I'm giving y'all gold here, man. I'm giving you gold knowledge, wisdom. Take it, apply it, and you're gonna win, man. I guarantee you for sure. Um, um, Pretty much, and then as well, I want to touch on as well. Um, when you get to a certain point of success, right? You get to a certain point where you've done a lot of things, you've accomplished a lot of goals and stuff like that. Don't get complacent. Like I said, keep going, because it's always room for improvement. No matter how much you think you have improved, you can refine it. You can get it perfect. Perfect is real. Trust me. You can get there. And I want to appreciate you guys for tuning in. Um, if you got any comments, you know, hit the subscribe button. Send messages, send me ideas you want to talk about, stuff like that. Send comments at the bottom. Again, subscribe. Though. I need y'all to subscribe for me, please. Support. We got to support each other, especially black businesses and stuff like that. And I appreciate y'all for listening, tuning in. God bless you, and y'all have a wonderful day. And hit that subscribe.